Go backwards. I'm gonna have to not look at it.
Okay.
It's trippy.
So we're starting to capture now. Hey guys. So there is something wrong with my YouTube live. It could be my technology or it could be YouTube technology. We're not gonna blame anyone right now. We're just
no need to blame ever.
We're just showing
it's
up.
It's happening, and this is our solution.
Yes, we're showing up. We're doing our job, and then everything will be perfect.
Yes,
Okay.
yes, it will. So.
Well, luckily, we just started on
our
live video. Anyway,
it's true. I didn't say anything brilliant yet, so it's fine. No, but what we were saying was we're here to check in again about last week's work and to discuss the next week, which is chapter 5. But first, every time we come together, we want to check in about the things that we do consistently every week. Morning pages, artist date, and now we're introducing the concept of synchronicity and trying to pay attention, keep tabs on those things that are coming up for us, and then anything else that you want to share about how things are going. So, Ginnie, how'd those morning pages go, girl?
Well, I think it was actually 5 out of 7 again. I'm actually proud of myself for doing my pages on our retreat at work.
And it's commendable.
I did that last week. I seemed to be doing it fine during the weekdays. Let me see. What else was there? So I did my Friday. Saturday I did it. I might have skipped. Yeah, I skipped Sunday and did Monday and Tuesday. So maybe I did more than I realized.
Awesome.
But I found that just attempting it really helps. I've also been having issues with spillage, so over speaking, saying things I didn't really mean to say to someone about something personal, that the things that you catch yourself mid saying it, like, oh, oh damn, I don't know if I meant to do that.
Mm-hmm.
So I started to write more in the morning to help myself out with that, and it is helping.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I feel like what I'm telling people is what I want to tell them, not what it just spills out of my mouth.
That self-awareness is so wonderful. One of the many benefits of this consistent journaling practice, that the fact that you did catch yourself and have that moment of not only is this not how I want to behave, but I have this tool to help me to feel empowered that you can make that change.
Yeah.
I mean, that's revolutionary shit right there.
Yeah.
If everybody was doing that, girl.
Yeah.
Everybody needs to be doing that.
Everyone needs to be doing this.
Catching yourself in the act of acting out of your integrity, and then figuring out what you need to do to not keep making that same mistake.
Yeah, definitely. And just also understanding too that even if you can't fit this in the morning, it still works in the afternoon. It still works in the evening. It still works before bed.
Mm-hmm.
Even just because it doesn't fit in the perfect time, which this is the ideal time, it makes a huge influence. It's like taking your medicine.
Mm-hmm.
It's like you shouldn't skip the whole day just because you didn't take it at the exact right time.
Mm-hmm.
You can still get benefit from it later in the day.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for sure. I mean, I didn't do my pages as often as you did this week.
I had an up week.
Yeah, but when I do them, and it's not usually in the morning, or my morning, it's like I'm not a routine person.
Mm-hmm.
So sometimes my morning is actually in the afternoon, and sometimes it's like before my day starts. I don't know, but I think our point is just it's better to do it at all than to stress about it being at a specific time or even every day, right? Because I get so much benefit from it, and I'll catch myself when my pages start dwindling. Like you can see, I only did one page today. I think that now I'm becoming aware too that that's pointing to that I'm avoiding something.
Yeah. No, I see that too. I've actually started to, when I see the gaps happen, that's when I start to actually build the tarot in.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes I find that just forcing myself to just keep writing it, maybe I need to write in a different way. So I'll do that. I'll make a graphic organizer actually, like a Venn diagram, and sometimes chart and plan things out in that way, and it I guess for me, it funnels information in. You know, it's not fully a part of the blurting out, but sometimes I just feel like you need to deliver your information in a different format. If that's what helps you to fulfill that goal, and sometimes I find new things from it too.
No, that's actually why I stopped at this moment. You know, I did the one page and stopped. I drew tarot cards for myself as well.
Nice.
And then there was so much synchronicity there in that reading that it like launched my creative process, and then I was off to the races on working towards that. So. And you know, I'm not upset about that.
No. You got back, and also I feel like so much of this is like preparing your mind to receive that synchronicity that you need to launch yourself forward. And like, even if I end up having to get off the creative path, and like what I have to do with my schedule is I wake up, make coffee, let the dog out, and feed the animal and everything. Then I write, and then after that I actually have to go to work, which is at home still, but. What I do is it makes me mindful for the pockets of time throughout the day. So what am I going to do with that time? Am I just going to watch TV? Or am I going to make something? You know, what am I doing that's towards my goal? And, you know, we're actually going to talk about it today, but there is total value in pockets of time and even downtime. There can be value in just downtime and watching TV. In a controlled fashion, if you know what you're doing, if you're not escaping.
Yeah. I mean, I would definitely say that there's range in terms of the quality of downtime. Not all downtime is created equal.
True, so true. Downtime is sometimes escape time too.
Right. Yeah, but is that actually resetting you? Is that nourishing you? Is that filling up the places that are feeling depleted? That's the question that I've been really asking myself. Because, I could spend 3 hours scrolling on my phone. Do I feel better after that?
No, I don't think I've ever
No, I do not.
Yeah.
Like, that's downtime, but that is not good quality downtime.
So true. We need structured downtime.
Yeah,
or
nourishing.
Like guided, downtime. Nourishing. We need yogurt, not Cheetos.
True.
So did you experience synchronicity this week?
No.
She's bathing in synchronicity. Swimming in synchronicity, an ocean full of it.
Yeah. It would be easier to say the things that are happening that don't feel like synchronicity and alignment. And there are definitely plenty of those as well. So, but yeah, it's one big synchronicity, but especially with this process, I think, I'll talk about like showing up here tonight and this chapter being exactly, and this is consistently happening. I mean, it's happening every week. Again, even going through the second time, it happened the first time I went through it.
Yeah.
And now the second time, we were having a conversation that was totally not about this. And then I'm in the middle of a sentence and she's like, do you know that that's exactly what we're talking about tonight? And I was like, I actually hadn't considered that. I didn't look ahead, we just showed up and here we are. So, yeah, major synchronicity. Just keep paying more and more attention to it and it will exponentially grow.
I think this last question here for check-in relates to me. I feel like she's asking me this question. Were there any other issues this week that you consider significant for your recovery? Describe them. I guess my issue was actually talking about time, and I'm calling it trimming the fat right now, but I have some synchronicity for overdoing it in some other parts and having to reevaluate what I want and what I want from my art, and start to assess like, well, what can I start to say no to? Which is a good thing. It's a good thing to have so many opportunities that you have to start saying no for your self-recovery. It's a time of abundance for sure. Yep. She goes into limits. So week 5's theme is recovering a sense of possibility, which I'm going to bring close. The camera's up here. Recovering a sense of possibility. So I remember here, she says on this opening page, there's this endless amount of energy we can pull from, but instead we choose to draw very limited amounts of the power available to us. We decide how powerful God is for us. Just like sit with that for a second. And like we decide how much, and I think it's a self-worth thing, for sure. Like how much do I feel like I deserve?
Self-worth, and also I think of the imagination as a muscle, and I feel that would come from a weak muscle, a weak imagination muscle, because, and it's so easy to have that happen, as you go through life and suffer disappointments and get bogged down in the logistics of things and just feeling overwhelmed with life, to stop thinking that anything is possible, right? I mean, that's what we're trying to recover here, is that sense of possibility, right? And that's, it's really challenging to do though, but it's imagination. It's, can you allow yourself to imagine greater and greater amounts of possibility?
Yeah, and just, it's so, and this one really like resides with me right now. In the next page, she says we can begin to let go of having to self-sabotage or having to sabotage ourselves, and that thinking that there has to be a limit is a form of sabotage. And also like, and a part of that is like going into the scarcity thinking or scarcity mentality, which is synchronous with another friend too, Anna, that we've been talking about. Is definitely what I've been thinking about a lot, how like we have this fear of having less, and so we have to some way compete or like preserve something and defend it, even though we can live in harmony and in collaboration, and then actually feed each other.
We in our conversation we're like, there's no such thing as too much dancing. Never, even if two dancers perform the exact same choreography in that exact same costume, there would be so much that we could enjoy about each of those performances. And it's
and then like there's just, we don't have to be afraid of that, and like we don't have to be like, oh, I'm performing at too many venues, I'm going to be looked down upon, I need to select my venues right now. That's not where that decision should come from. Like this, it should be like, this really benefits my art. Like I'm going to do the thing that benefits my art. This
feels really good. This would be really fulfilling to me. This is in line with what's coming through as I'm clarifying what feels good, what I want, what feels authentic to me.
I feel like maybe this starts to recall like when I realized my purpose, which I think was either this week or the next one. I was like halfway through the process when I outlined my purpose, which is kind of a crazy thing. It's not crazy. It's an amazing thing to say. And I started to think about, what pushes me in the scarcity mentality, and thinking about all these things we do to limit our power. I had to think about what is it that I want to do in like an open format and context. And I think that's when I said my purpose is to create and help others create. I like didn't want any limiting words in there at all. And I'm realizing now that, and still today, like I keep having to remind myself, but every time I say that purpose, I feel good. Like it feels so good to say. And if I just do what I want in line with that, then it always works out.
That's beautiful. And yes, I love how you were really conscious to keep your purpose open-ended enough, because I think and she talks about this in here too, the way I'm thinking of this is like you're collaborating with spirit, you're collaborating with the greater forces. So if you get too rigid in how things are going to happen or exactly what that looks like, you're being overbearing, you're taking more than your amount of the 50-50 collaboration.
In the same way that I feel like in our culture, often our purpose is in correlation to our job,
Mm-hmm.
which isn't what we do for money, isn't what we do for life.
Mm-hmm. It doesn't have to be. It can be, but
it
it's
can
not
be,
always.
yeah. But to choose a purpose that exists beyond career
Mm-hmm.
and can be a human purpose.
And then your career can be, I thought of my career as an offering to my higher purpose for a long time. I mean, that's where I am on my path currently, is that I'm working in a job that isn't exactly in alignment with what I feel like is really my work in the world, you know, that fully utilizes my gifts and my creativity and all of that. But I really came to peace with it by thinking of it as an offering, so that my work could just breathe and not have to support me.
Yeah. No, I think that's wonderful. And also, yeah. Oh, that's so great way to think about it. Yeah, because your work becomes a limit.
Mm-hmm.
And then, but if you think about it as an offering instead, then all of a sudden you've left and can come renewed to your practice, saying, well, I've given my sacrifice, my offering, and now I can dedicate myself feeling completed, that things will work out.
Yeah, all my needs are met. You know, you can't be creative if you're struggling for the next, how to make your rent payment, you know. So you gotta take care of that stuff. And it is offering space for your art. It's really good. Yeah, and I wanted to talk in this section about, down here, creativity is a spiritual issue, and any progress is made by leaps of faith, some small and some large. So that trust, you know, again, kind of having an idea of where you want to go, but then leaving a lot of it up to the greater forces, whatever you want to call those. We're really getting into the thick of it now, where Ginny mentioned she's using the word God a lot more. I tend to use the word spirit. I'm getting more comfortable with using that word pretty consistently and to mean that concept. But whatever it is, you know, the more open to that force coming into your life, the easier everything gets, basically.
I think the acknowledgement that the true reward of figuring out what you actually want is your purpose. Like, it is completely in line with your purpose. And so much of us, we just don't know what we want in life. And that's like where these pages and stuff really come out, because you see these motifs and these patterns, and you're breaking through the blocks to find out what you actually want and are here for.
And I think a caveat is that clarity, that purpose, that mission can't come from fear.
It can't.
If it does, it's like that's not it.
Yeah.
But I think that can, you know, it can trick us, right? We can have a fear-based desire and think that that's really what we want. But it's
a limit.
Yeah.
In disguise.
So you have to clear all that and say, no, if there were no limits and no lack, what would I do? What would really just light me all the way up, turn me on so much that I didn't need anything from anyone?
And that truly resonates with the exercises that she has in here later in the chapter. Exactly what you said is to help navigate that true love.
Yeah, so that's, we'll segue into the next section, finding the river. So this is, we've kind of already been talking along these lines.
We're in the river today.
In it, so this is, you know, the river would be that flow, right? So when you do open fully to those forces guiding you along your path, you've gotten clear about where it is you're going, and then really stepping into that current and allowing it to lead you along. And, you know, she said that's a gradual process, so you don't need to feel like you need to jump into the deep end, though if you want to, then go for it. But, you know, it takes, like, writing down, noting these synchronicities that we keep encouraging you to do. Last week or in weeks prior, I've said you don't need to believe in this. Like, nobody's asking you to believe in something. That's not going to work. If you don't believe this, you can't force that. But maybe just entertain the possibility. Just keep entertaining the possibility. If it's working for you, if you're like, I'll stay open to this, I'll entertain. Like, y'all sound like you're pretty far out right now. I don't know what you're on, but I'm not on that, and I'm not buying it. Great. But what if? Just keep asking, but what if? Like, what do I have to lose? Maybe if I stay open and see if it works, and just allow that to guide you, basically, is that the curiosity.
I think everything great has been made through possibility.
Mm-hmm.
No one would have discovered it had they not been willing to discover.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, just be curious. Just be like, what if?
Yeah.
But what if it really would work for me? Or what if what they're saying is legit?
Mm-hmm.
Like, what if I let that in? Just let it in as much as you can, right? Staying really honest with yourself. But what I was talking about before, how when you do find that mission and it just lights you all the way up to where you're just beaming through every pore, and then you need nothing from anyone else. That's exactly what she's saying here. Dependence on the Creator within is freedom from all other dependencies. Paradoxically, it is the only route to real intimacy with other humans. Freed from our terrible fears of abandonment, we are able to live with more spontaneity. Freed from our constant demands for more and more reassurance, our fellows are able to love us back without feeling so burdened.
Yes! That's the ultimate goal that I want from all my relations.
Yeah, and that comes from us loving each other for our unique gifts and saying, just do you. I don't need anything from you other than for you to light yourself on fire.
Yeah.
And then when you're with other people who are on fire, like we're right now, where you're just like this, oh my God, this buzzing, like beautiful collaborative energy.
And you know it when you feel it. If you see someone on stage doing this amazing thing, you're like, thank you for sharing. Thank you for giving me the energy. I'm not looking for criticism. I'm not looking for this. Just thank you for it.
Yeah.
Thank you for showing up.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you for showing up.
Thank you for showing up. Yeah. No.
Thank me for showing up. Thank you, Ginny.
Yeah.
Thank you.
For real though, it's so beautiful when you can step away from that lack mentality. You can step away from doing your life out of fear of abandonment.
And just like the abundance that will open up to you.
And the fun part is, all this comes from you getting really clear about what you have fun doing.
Yeah.
What you like. It's like your desire. Like, wait, so like all this work, like, oh my God, these pages, like all this effort. The point is for you to just really get real with yourself about what brings you joy.
Yeah.
What do you have? What makes you have a good time? And it is hard. I'm not trying to make light of it.
No.
I struggled. But, you come out on the other side at some point. You're like, the whole point is just to have fun.
Yes, I learned actually from games that I play, like Dungeons and Dragons with friends and stuff. Like, maybe I actually like writing stories. And that's actually come through my own dance form. It's like this piece I'm creating doesn't feel meaningful unless it's in a story. This artwork I'm making doesn't feel meaningful unless it's like definitely like feels like a narrative, even a narrative of my own or an interpretation. And that's just how I create meaning, and I get so excited to work on it. And then that goes to the virtue trap.
Bum, bum, bum.
That's the parent trap of virtues. This is something I actually am having full synchronicity with today. I have pulled the Hanged Man card, which is a lot about sacrifice.
Here, I'll pull out my Rider-Waite version.
You have yours? I wonder if mine's on here. Is it touch with it, maybe? Yes, it is.
Oh,
I got number 12 here. This is from the Good Tarot, called the Hanged Man. And mine is a little bit less cryptic than I'd say a lot of other card sets. This is the Good Tarot. She's an optimist. This guy has wings. He's just choosing to drop down right now. But it's all about sacrifice and choosing to give up. Actually, yeah, I wrote my favorite quote from it today. Sacrifice and surrender are necessary at times like this. And this is something I have to remember in my own creative process. I need to create good downtime. I need to take a breath in order to keep moving.
Yeah. So I guess the virtue trap, as she describes it, is when you do things out of obligation. So much so that you don't make time for you to nurture your artist.
Yes.
And then you end up being a big old beehive.
I think she says, you're in it. When we eventually became like cornered animals, snarling at our family and friends to leave us alone and stop making unreasonable demands. and things feel so unreasonable when you're in this state. Even though if you're not in this state, it would be okay. Like, if you're feeling this way and someone's like, hey, I lost my music, can you send me the file again? In a calm state, you're like, sure, yeah, whatever. But you're in this corner state, you're like, how could you be so unprofessional and irresponsible? Like, you're supposed to do this, blah, 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 blah. I shouldn't even do this. And you find that you're trying to run away because you actually should have booked time to run away.
Yeah, you're blaming others for imposing upon you when the issue is actually that you have not.
Yeah.
You've been imposing upon yourself.
And for me, I know right now I'm creating a lot of issues where there are not any, and that is where I indicate that I need to do a little break. And sometimes that break can be maybe a break from a specific friend group that you hang out with all the time. You know, we always have to take breathers, especially if like we're a creative group and we build from each other. Breath is so important. And it just has to be perceived negatively. You're legitimately busy if you're feeling like this. But also it can be like a break from everyone. Like right now I'm already booking a day, November 2nd, in which I'm not going to do crap. Like I'm taking myself to the garden, I'm going to walk around, I'm going to play, and then I'm sorry guys, I can't reach my email until 3 p.m. I don't know where it went. The time really flew. But
so important.
Yeah, and that's what she talks about here is taking the break keeps you from getting locked into these obligations. Virtue can be deadly for the artist, which is true, especially if you're a person put into the state of doing something for free. Like I had to set my boundary with my mom once, and I love her to death, but she was so receptive to it as well. But she when I was a teenager, she would volunteer out my time. I didn't have a job, wasn't that big of a deal, and even when I did have a job, she was paying for everything. So I would do things out of gratitude for my parents. Like, sure, yeah, I'll help paint this person's sign or this image and do that for free. And I remember when, she was trying to be supportive to my sister and said, like, you can do this. Or Ginny, she just said, like, flip with her, like, Ginny can do this. And I had to, like, say, hey, I can't anymore. Like, I actually have no time in the week. Like, and, like, please let me self-select to do the task. And we do things sometimes. And, like, especially for friends and people we care about. And they don't do it out of maliciousness. It's often out of love and a love for someone else. It's just we have to set that boundary of, like, I can't always do this thing for you. Or if I do, it's going to be my own volunteer.
Yeah.
And then she gets into self-destruction. Are you destructive to yourself? And what that really asks us is, are we self-destructive to our true nature? And I definitely have a lot of self-destructive habits that normally relate to misuse of downtime and then dietary habits. My vices in terms of like drugs, alcohol, and stuff are actually quite limited. And that's, in some ways, it's like worse because I always would be like, oh, I can keep eating like this because it's not like I smoke or anything. Like, in some ways, but I'm walking myself into its own other vice, and I use that as a block. And she actually gets to that later on. I think, like, overeating bread and sugar is a form of self-destruction because it creates a block in which you're over full and tired, or having a sugar crash and tired. And then sure enough, that time that you put aside in the evening to recoup and relax or to work on your art has become like misused downtime, and you're literally just looking at the painting that's unresolved. I think it's over there.
Yeah, no, I'm super guilty of that as well. When it comes time where, especially later in the evening, when I have a decent stretch of time ahead of me before I would normally go to sleep that I could work, but then I get into the snack pit, right?
Yeah.
It's like and then I hit that point in overdrive, I snack myself into a coma, and then
you get dead to the world for a bit. You're so comfy as they fill the carpet sand, and you're like, this is fine. And then you're like, oh, the next morning I'm like, I could have done that. I could have finished that project.
Yeah, and when you're eating it, it's not like you always, until you start to be more mindful, in my mind, I wasn't gonna not do the thing.
Yeah.
It wasn't until I was halfway through that bag of chips that I was like, oh,
I'm so sleepy.
now I'm ready for bed. But yeah, so it's sneaky. You gotta catch it. You gotta catch it in the act and be like, even though this isn't how it doesn't feel like self-sabotage, that's what this is.
Well, it's a habit too.
Yeah.
Habits are hard to break, and you have to first be aware of them before you develop a strategy.
Yeah.
And then I've definitely been aware of mine for a while, and I'm working one day at a time.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
One step forward, 2 steps back.
Yeah.
So then she gets into some different quizzes and exercise in the chapter.
These are great ones.
Yeah. I mean, you are looking back at your old ones now.
Yeah, and it's so, I remember this chapter being so potent. All these exercises right here, challenging and potent. But yeah, I'm looking back at them and seeing the things that I have accomplished now. There's forbidden joys. What would I do if I weren't too selfish? What would I do if I weren't too crazy? Like all these kinds of things. And yeah, I'm doing so many of these now.
Oh, I know. Where's my book? I gotta look through. Okay, I'll let you run this part and look at my book real quick.
Yeah, and so here I'm looking at a list of things. I guess this is this that you were talking about. What do I do that's self-destructive?
Oh.
Looking at this list here, and it's so beautiful to see where I've really improved, like exponential growth in so many of these areas. There's an items I would like to own list. I think, is that one of these exercises, or maybe that's a future one? I don't know.
Yeah, some get kind of mixed up.
Right.
I had one phase where I kept putting exercises on the same page for 2 different chapters. My organizations system has gotten better over time.
Right. Oh, so Forbidden Joy is one of them. I think was getting my sea leg tattoos, which for those of you who know, I'm deep into that process. We're actually getting very close to finishing it, and it's this giant, gorgeous, transformational experience on my leg. So check that one off the move away and start over. Number 6 on my list. I'm not really talking about that yet, but have a winter house in a tropical location. So about that moving away and starting over. It's not tropical, but it's warm in the winter.
Yeah.
Get a nice camera. That one that's definitely high up on the list too. And the Virtue Trap quiz. Greatest joy in my life is the ocean. As I play more, I work less. What is that in response to? The Virtue Trap quiz. Oh. Number 4. As I play more, I work. I put less. That's not actually that interesting of an answer.
Mine. The biggest lack in my life is boundaries. Oh, that still exists. The greatest joy in my life is love and expression. The largest time commitment is work. Not anymore, actually. Hey. Hey. Oh my goodness.
Here, I'll share this one. Ooh, this is a really deep one. This is deep. You guys ready for this bomb? I sabotage myself so people will understand why I suck at loving them.
Oh, that's so deep. Look at you. Using that pain to help find clarity at the same time.
Yeah. But that is, I would get myself into these everything's crazy, I don't have any money, stress balls, so that I had the excuse to not show up, really fully in my relationships. It was a self-protection thing, but I'm really overcoming that in huge ways.
I really found that my dream came true at the time. If my dreams come true, my family will have money, and I'll be calm.
That's true.
I'm in such a state of abundance right now. I sabotage myself so people will like me. I'll sacrifice in certain matters. So, choosing to say yes to things in which I don't need to. There's no have to.
Yeah, so these exercises are wonderful.
And
Do
then
them.
some of them just still so resonate.
Potency.
And then the things, look at this.
The wishes.
Oh my
I'm
gosh.
looking at my wishes. Yeah, it's beautiful. It's beautiful to do it in the moment and to, really excavate the truth out of yourself. But then, when you write it down, you have this to go back to, and you can really track your progress through your life. Because I think I'm feeling like these things will be with me forever. These tools, this process of writing and excavating, and I mean always coming back to this process and going back through these exercises.
It is actually helpful to look through your old stuff too. So even though you're hiding your things and not looking at it now, if you come back to this, 16 weeks from now, like this actually brings a lot of circuitous, good feelings.
Yeah,
I'm glad I kept it.
Yeah, me too. So have fun, and enjoy the epiphanies that will inevitably come to you if you really show up to these exercises.
Shall we close out with?
Yeah.
Okay. Let's see. Did you draw last time?
I don't remember, but it's your
been a
deck,
while.
so I'll let you.
I'll just make it all shuffle, messy, kind of fun stuff, and I'm just gonna touch it all. It's no rhyme or reason. Okay. I pulled her the other day. The 8 of water. You hold it up to the camera while I look it up. 8 of water. I feel like it's always a good sign when it comes back to you.
Yeah.
I used to hate it when it returns, but I was like, it returns because I need to see it again. And we need to see it again. Journey of discovery. Letting go and seeking a deeper meaning and greater authenticity beyond superficiality.
Yeah.
Alright, all that glitters isn't gold, and I know that I will always deserve authentic riches. The gold that fills me with joy, abundance, and understanding. I fearlessly pause, to re-examine where I have been, where I am, and where I might go. Those are these exact exercises. Now I consciously choose the path that is right for me instead of the one that seems likely to draw me onto it, or the one I feel like I ought to walk. I am true to my heart. I have come as far as I can, and I leave by the wayside the last vestiges of illusion, the last bits of fear and shame. I will no longer hold on to what isn't right for me. That was good. That's some synchronicity. Here you go. Give me the synchronicity.
Write it down.
8 of water. You need to go in tonight. I mean, you have to have 8 cups of water a day, so that's one synchronicity there. but maybe just ablutions, run 8 hands of water over your face. You know that. This is for you. This is for us. This is for all of us. Dip your hand into the river.
Soak up.
I feel like when the ghost TV shows when they capture a ghost on camera. You're like, is it real? Was that really the thing? This was real.
And I mean, I experience so much synchronicity, and it blows me away every time.
That's where the magic is. That is the magic.
Yeah.
It's truly the will that I put out there. It's from rewarded back. This is going in the direction as long as I find where the flow is.
Yes. As long as you stay open to asking, where is that?
Yes, where is it?
And it will be revealed. All will be revealed. Keep showing up.
So good. All right. Thanks, guys, for showing up.
Yeah.
And we look forward to seeing you next week. Hopefully the technology will work better. Our vibrations are just so high right now.
Yeah.
You two can't deal with this.
No, you're too high for YouTube. Not actually not on drugs. On creativity. On life.
8 of water, guys. 8 of water. Love you guys.